10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, everyone, for that hour break that I've just rammed down a pizza down my neck, got myself a coffee, and we're ready to go again. Get the views of some of our American colleagues from across the pond on the last couple of weeks since we were last live. John is in the background with the guest that he's sprung up on the last minute, so we're going to find out about some interesting stuff from a new guest. I'm really looking forward to it. I did have Kayla involved, John, but Kayla didn't realise the clocks went back in the UK, so she couldn't make it because she made plans, which is a bit of a shame. Even though from Leslie again, evening again, Les, and good morning from Leslie, who is obviously, it's morning. It's not for me. I want to go to bed. Welcome back, everyone. Let's bring John in first of all. Good evening, John. Or good afternoon for you.
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, we did have the time change. I was trying to do the conversion myself. It was kind of crazy, but I got a special guest lined up.
Yes,
great
looking
guy.
Forward to this.
Love him. He knows a lot about me. I know a lot about him.
Ooh, this could get tasty.
You could say we're related.
I love it. Well, let's bring him in and you can introduce him and start the show off. Welcome.
Thanks.
Hey, Brandon.
How's it going?
Good to see you.
Good.
This is fun. Yeah, Brandon, I met, I don't know how long ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago. I forget. He's my daughter's partner. And I introduce him all the time as Brandon's my daughter's boyfriend / fiance / husband, because we don't really have a title for him, you know. He's just a great guy, and they've lived together for years. They're two wonderful people and very important in my life. And the reason Brandon is a good catch for a show like this is
I thought you were going to say it was a good catch for your daughter there for a second.
Oh, without a doubt. So, but getting to the football, Brandon has been a European soccer fiend for quite a long time. He was actually born in Italy, if I've got that right, and had followed a lot over there. So he and my daughter were mystified when, starting in 2017, 2018, I started following Newcastle. I went to Newcastle in 2018. Of course, we couldn't get to a match. It was just my wife and I. We toured the city and toured the grounds. She was like, "Really, another stadium? You're obsessed with another stadium?" And it's like, oh yeah. I'm really obsessed with this one. Then we get back in the States. We get, the lockdown with COVID, and I'm just completely 100% on the internet, immersed with Newcastle. And I reached out to Brandon, because he knows me as a sports fan, but not a soccer fan. And I know him as a soccer fan only. And we started talking, and he's like, "Oh my God, Newcastle's got this fantastic history and all this." And he's naming players I never heard of. Of course, I knew about Kevin Keegan. I knew somewhat about Alan Shearer, of course, but he's filling in all the gaps, telling me all kinds of things about him. And he says, "Yeah, they're actually one of my favorite teams because they're the Magpies. I love the magpie bird. It's a smart animal, Nice. So that's the intro. I've known him 10, 12 years. Great guy. We're just out there in Durango not long ago. That's where he lives, in Durango. He and my daughter went back and forth with it. They went to school in Durango. They moved to Denver. They lived there for a while. Then they went back to Durango. So they've been in Colorado for years. But anyway, enough about me. tell us just a little bit about yourself, Brandon, about your interest in, first of all, European soccer, and then secondarily, Newcastle. And then we'll talk about whatever Baz wants to talk about today.
Well, I'll just jump in very quickly. Brandon, are you sure that you're only dating John's daughter because of the daughter, not because John's a Newcastle fan? The way I'm thinking, you sounds like you gravitated to each other.
It's honestly interesting that you mentioned this, because there are a number of almost like conspiracy theory level connections that Teresa, John's daughter, and I have. I don't know if you know over there about, there's this whole thing where I won't take too long with this, but it's like the two
Evan Bacon.
So it's like Abraham Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy, and Kennedy had a guy in his cabinet named Lincoln, and there's all these weird, anyway. So Teresa's nickname was my grandmother's name, and her middle name is the same. They were both born in the same place. They both lived in Oklahoma. So like, there's all these weird connections. So it does really feel like a match that was almost divinely sort of ordained or whatever,
written in the stars.
Totally. But I think John's what would you say? It's weird to call him John. Jackson.
Yeah, you can slip up. You can call me Jack.
Jack's love for Newcastle has honestly been really great for he and I's relationship. Not that it was ever whatever, but like I used to try to talk to him about the Orioles or whatever, and I didn't know anything about the Orioles. So like it's opened up many new avenues of conversation for Jack and I, which I really appreciate. And honestly, I was thinking about this earlier. Like, I didn't know guys could get this excited about stuff. It gives me so much. I want to have a total era of obsessionality with a sport or anything later in my life. So it's like gives me a lot to look forward to, I think. But yeah, I don't know if people know this, but Jack has been to, I think, every single American baseball stadium in the country except for one or two. So the guy knows his stuff, and it's really cool to see him bring that to soccer, because I mean, it is the superior sport in every way.
Well, let's face it, Rounders is Rounders, isn't it? Really, that's one plays baseball in the UK.
Baseball is more of a game than a sport. It's like it's fun to attend, and peanuts and Cracker Jacks and all that. But
it is interesting. Yeah. I was watching a bit of TikTok stuff today, and baseball was some of the stuff that comes up, and it's all about the pitcher aiming for the batter and like aiming for his kneecaps and stuff like this. And I was like, what the hell is going on?
One of the most exciting things you can see in baseball is when a pitcher throws a no-hitter, which is literally just two guys playing catch. I mean, you're literally just watching two dudes play catch for like 6 hours. I mean, it's
some guy swinging a bat trying to hit
it. and everywhere you look, it's commercials and advertisements and all that. But no, Jack is right. I was born in Italy. So I grew up with a huge soccer culture in my house. My dad was a goalkeeper for many years and played in many different places. And so that was the only sport I ever played my whole life.
Who did you follow in Italy?
I was born in Naples. I'm a Napoli fan. Totally. Yeah. They just they just finished the game against Milan. They tied 2-2.
Ooh, Desmond. So you
you
know the term Desmond, don't you?
What's that?
The term Desmond.
Tell me about
2-2.
it. Oh yes, 2-2.
Desmond 2-2.
Nice.
There's one for you guys to take to the pub.
Some
the
geopolitical
next time you're in a
humor.
game.
Yeah,
as soon as it goes 2-2, just shout Desmond and see if anyone gets it. But Napoli are a great team, to be fair. Which players would you nick from Napoli if you had the chance to see them in black and white?
I would love to hear the Geordies try to pronounce Kvaratskhelia.
Kava.
Yeah.
Done.
I think just say KK.
Yeah.
KK, Kava, nailed it.
I mean, Osimhen looked like he was trying to find an excuse to get. They were abusing him over there. I don't know what that was all about, but we'll treat him right in Newcastle.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that would be some signing, wouldn't it?
It would have been great if Kim Min-jae had gone I mean,
Yes.
obviously he was going to get picked up by, whoever had the most money, but that would have been cool.
See, Baz, I always bring more informed guests than myself. These guys know so much more about football, or as we call it here, soccer. They know so much more about football, and all I'm about is all about my father and Newcastle, and just
It's a perfect blend.
Completely spun out of control
It's a perfect
over
blend.
COVID, and then of course I went over right after the buyout, and then this is my life now. You can see in the background. It's how many kids do I have now? I don't know, but
they're all on the wall behind you.
And what's really thrilling for me, and I'm sorry that we're probably going to miss you, but Brandon and Teresa, my daughter, Wheezy, we're gonna be traveling over for the Chelsea match, so we will probably just miss you, but they're coming over and they'll get their taste of St. James. So I'm really looking forward to that.
It's always been something I've never really thought I would get to do, but to see a Premier League game, period, is always been something that I was like, couldn't wait to do. And so happy that it gets to happen under these circumstances, with this context, with these people. Yeah, really can't wait. Yeah.
I hope you realize you'll be mobbed when John comes over, because his fan base himself is almost as big as St. James's Park.
I'll be his bodyguard. Yeah.
We'll be like, who are you? Get out of the way. We want to speak to John.
Talk to my agent. Over there. That's Brandon.
I love it. There's a question for you already in the chat there, Brandon. Do we come to you for the Tonali refund as you was in Italy? It's only 55 million.
I mean, I feel bad for the guy, man. I mean,
I do.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching the Manchester derby this morning, and I noticed, well, and it's not just in the Premier League, but it's in every league, in every sport, the betting advertising.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Crazy. And it's like they put those there so that people will do it, but it's not like the players are immune to that. Like, it's, the players probably are just as subject to these kinds of advertisements as we are, I would think. Right. So like,
definitely.
I feel bad for the guy. And I mean, I got a cousin Carmine in Jersey that's going to clear it all up with the Tonali situation. Yeah.
Hey, Brandon, it's not just the advertising. You can actually bet at the game.
Yeah. At the halftime, before the game, there's I think Ladbrokes.
You can walk up and just bet, and I do. I usually do. I say, okay, Amaron's going to score a goal, and Gordon's going to score a goal, and Wilson's going to score a goal. Of course, none of them will score a goal, but I think it's super cool that the sports in general are starting to pay more attention to mental health and men's mental health. And I think this should absolutely be in the same conversation. Addiction, impulsive behavior. I'm a psychotherapist, so I do have a financial stake in this as well. But I think that this kind of thing needs to be talked about in the same in that space. Totally.
Definitely. But I mean, the one thing that really surprises me, or doesn't surprise me, everyone says that our owners would be really disappointed that a player's been banned for betting because it's illegal in that country. But yet the same people who own our football club have brung MGM in, who were a betting company. Fun 88, they've kept them on board. They're a betting company, all for sponsorship. So it's like, it's a rock and a hard place, isn't it? Really, you can't shun someone with one hand and then take on from them on the other hand as well, can you? It's ridiculous. But while betting it's massive in the UK, I'm guessing it is in America as well, with baseball and American football, and
it's a newer thing, really. I mean, nationwide sports betting, I think, was only recently legalized, if I'm not mistaken. I grew up in Vegas, so I know that. There it's everywhere, right? You go on the horses. It's like sanctioned, right? It used to be there were certain sanctioned places, like riverboat casinos, Vegas, Atlantic City. But now with like app-based phone mobile betting stuff, I think the cat's out of the bag.
Definitely.
100%.
It's terrible, really, in a way. But apparently he's been doing it for 4 years. So what's your take on that, John? Apparently 4 years in the making. This case has been building and building in the background. How much did AC Milan know of it? And how much have they pulled our pants down for £55 million for a player who's suspended till next season?
You know, the funny thing is, I think I've figured out that whether they knew or not, Newcastle got a pretty good deal, you know, whether they knew or not. And if they knew, it should be prosecuted. But if we just weather this 1 year, we've got a star player, and he should feel a sense of commitment back to the team for us sticking with him so well. That's my hope. Okay.
Yeah.
When
Go
they
ahead, Brandon.
when they subbed him in against Dortmund, I was like, just do it, and it'll all be forgiven, man. Just get one, just get it, and the slate will be clean, man. It's okay.
Well,
to be fair, the fans were brilliant. I mean, there was a lot of idiots on Twitter, like usual, on X or whatever you want to call it these days, saying, "Oh, I should never play in the Newcastle shirt again," all this sort of stuff. But I'd say 95% of the fan base were basically, right, he's done something wrong. He's a young man. He's going to learn from his mistake. We know he's going to be an excellent player. Let's get behind him and show him how much, even though he's only been here for such a short period of time, but if we show him the love and get him through this difficult stage in his life, there's a very good chance he's going to come back and think, Jesus, I've got to really repay these fans in this football club.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel. And certainly it would be fun if they found out that Italy knew, because then it would be, okay, you owe us some bucks, you owe us 25K back, 25,
Oh, well, what mil on the end of that, not K.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I didn't mean to say that. Yeah. As always catches my mistakes, man.
It's not a mistake. It's just I want more money. The Saudi will sue them, will drain AC Milan money through legal costs. Well, I've not seen anything come out officially that we are trying to sue them. But I reckon it'll be in the background.
Sure, I would
thinking about it, don't you?
Yeah, you really don't want to focus on it, but I'm sure that lawyer types are looking at it, because if they can get an angle and get something out of it, they probably should.
Yeah,
but yeah,
get a quarter of it back. That would help in January window, wouldn't it?
Oh shit, yeah. So the way that Brandon mentioned, the way the fans would forgive him and everything if he scored a goal. Yeah, we were all looking for that, but of course, if you watch the end of the game, they were brilliant. I mean, the way he was supported.
Yeah, that one off the crossbar right at the end there, I was like, almost, love to see it.
To be honest with you, I don't think there's that many football clubs in the country would have done that.
Yeah. No.
I think because of our nature, and that everyone says we're friendly, we're approachable, and all this sort of stuff, very forgiving. I think if that happened down in London, I don't think he would have got that kind of reception. If you played for like Chelsea or Arsenal or someone like that.
Oh, it blew up enough in the tabloids where we are, but it would have been nuts in London. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, another question for Brandon. Yeah. Do you think we'll finish in the top 4 this season? I have to keep reminding everyone. Top 5.
Yeah.
The new Champions League format. It's top 5, guys. We're going to get that extra place.
Totally, which is interesting, right? Because that means there's going to be concurrent games being played next Champions League, right? Like, or how does it, or not concurrent games being played because of the.
It's one big league apparently, but then there's only so many teams play so many teams in the league, and then the top 6 go through or top 8 go through. I don't know how the format works. It does. I don't personally like it.
Yeah,
I like it where it is now. I don't think it's not broken. Why fix it?
Yeah,
so I don't like it, but I'm very grateful there's an extra place for the Premier League, because that gives us a very good chance of being in that competition next season again, which is where the big bucks is, and that's how you attract the bigger players.
I'm going to still say we finish top 4, and maybe Brighton gets that number 5 spot or something like that. I mean,
not Villa. Villa are flying.
Yeah, sure. I could see one of them for sure. Spurs maybe in there somewhere, but
Spurs are flying as well. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, knock on wood. I definitely need them to be a mainstay in the Champions League for sure.
There's one for Brandon.
There you go.
Yeah, I wonder about that, right? Well, I mean, certainly a shower of booze. I don't know if people saw the Inter Roma game this morning, but it was piercing whenever Lukaku would get on the ball. So he's at Roma now, right? He was at Inter, and they're all pissed at him for whatever. I don't know.
They didn't want him.
Yeah. I know.
How could he be pissed at him? They literally drove him out of the football club, like saying he wasn't good enough, and that if he played, they'd boo him. And then, well, there you go. That just says a lot about Italian football, doesn't it?
Yeah. Very hot and cold, right? Yeah. But like I commend the fans for being disorganized, I guess. But like every touch on the ball for him was just piercing, the jeers and whistles and boos. And like I can't help but think that if we had treated Sandro like that, like come on, like
he would have buckled, wouldn't he?
And like I just fail to see how that does anything. Like I don't understand it. But like they were all saying how great Lukaku is and how he's just a different type of player for not letting this kind of thing affect him. And he's just, but like, come on, like that. I don't know.
It will behind closed doors, doesn't it? I don't know if you get it on your Netflix in America or not, but me and the missus just started watching the David Beckham one. And I didn't actually realize how bad the grief was until I watched that when he got sent off against Argentina for England. And I mean, wow, the death threats, everything, the booing at I booed him because, when I'm at St. James's Park and if Beckham was one of the best players on the pitch, you want to try and put him off his game. I didn't want anything to happen to him, but I wanted him in that 90 minutes to suffer so he didn't be on his best game. But then he said it cheered him up and made him want to perform better. So it depends how you look at it.
Sure. Yeah. Right. But that's coming from like away fans. When it's your home fans and it's like, what am I doing? It was only after really watching that Netflix series that I realized how it was for him, because that was my guy when I was growing up. When I really, really fell in love with soccer, it was during the really, you'd say the Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lampard, Drogba era, right? Yeah. And so David Beckham was like, he was at Real Madrid by then, right? But like, that was my guy. I wore number 7 when I played. I tried to style my hair like him, but I didn't realize how that was like everybody else. But y'all were like pretty anti, and I get it because like the Diego Simeone stuff with Argentina and stuff, or I forget who he had a fight with, and then like.
But it pains me even more after watching that documentary and Diego Simeone saying, "Oh, it was the slightest touch. It was never a sending off." It's like you. Brings it all back.
And you made a geopolitical joke earlier, but you've got Falkland Island stuff going on there, right?
That was when that was happening.
Yeah, and then I love
Diego
the story.
Maradona handball, the hand of God.
Totally. Was that against England?
Yeah.
Knocked
us out of the World Cup.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Luis Suarez, man. He bit Chiellini in 2010, and that knocked Italy out. And I'm like, I can't get behind the guy.
Again, second time. Please tell me that's not a second time. I don't want to see Miggy get in trouble. Miggy can't speak English anyway, can he? He didn't understand the language, mate. Exactly. That's the only reason why he gets in trouble.
What do you do?
Important for players to keep that sense of normality. Yeah. So basically, we're hoping, and I think he's going to be allowed because of the mental health issue side of things with his gambling. He's going to be allowed to train with the team, he can still get that daily routine that he needs.
That would be super. That would be so big to his mental health.
I'm gonna let my cat out of the room. You can. She's a fan. She's a Newcastle fan. She's got she wore her jersey today.
A black and
white cat. I love it. Wouldn't give police the ID. Maybe he didn't give the police the ID because he didn't know what they were asking for.
That was the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know what the second time is until I read it somewhere.
Yeah, I can't remember what the second time was. Right, we're going to try and do the monthly prize draw. before we go on to our next topic. Let's see if this works, because I always end up cocking it up. Right, yes, we want that. Window. No, we want entire screen. No, we want the Chrome tab. Why aren't you working?
Oh,
There
wow.
we go. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yay. Right, the Wheel of Prize. So what you could be winning today as a member, of anyone who's paying 99p, 199, 299, or 499, memberships 99p is cheap as chips. You could be winning one of these t-shirts. You get to pick whatever t-shirt you want, and our friends at Diacro will send out the t-shirt to you for free. But if you want to buy one, 20% off using Baz20, and the link is in the description. And I've got the Nick Pope the Wall t-shirt. John, you bought one recently as well, haven't you?
Yeah, by the way, big
Yeah.
shout out to those guys at Diacro. Joseph Spinney's a great guy. Right over my shoulder is one of mine hanging up over there.
Nice.
And I ordered another one. I'll show that probably on Twitter later today or tomorrow.
Love it.
That's it. That's my plug for Diacro and the San Diego Mags. Thank you.
Yes. I love it. Right. So here we go. Good luck, everyone. Let's click that spinny wheel. Where will it stop? Nobody knows. Tony Duke.
Let's go, Tony. Congratulations.
All right.
I better take a picture of that because I'll probably forget. There we go. I'm terrible. Everyone says, what's that saying? Fail to prepare, prepare to fail.
Oh.
I just think me and John just love winging things, and we're really good at
That's it. Let's just get on and see what happens.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a different. It hasn't happened again since, thank God. So Tony Duke, get in touch. If you're on Twitter, message me. There's an email address in the description below, and give me your details. Have a look at the website, which top you want. You are our monthly winner. Congratulations, Tony.
That's the first time I've seen that wheel you got. Wow.
It's good, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's good. Just type in prize wheel and you find one on the internet. It's great.
And then you got to load it with all your names, right?
Yes, got to load them all in manually. I find a way of doing it so it's quite quick. It only took me 2 minutes.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Let's take.
You get for 99p, you get one chance to win. For 199, you get 2 chances. 3 chances for 299. You get 5 chances for 499.
Okay.
So that's why it looks like there's a lot more than there is.
Yeah, that's good.
But I love it. I love giving away stuff. It's fantastic. Oh, next month it's an Alan Shearer signed picture.
The
prizes do get better sometimes. They do.
I better
that
contribute.
cost me 40 quid, that picture.
Yeah, I better contribute more.
Was that like $20 or something? I don't know.
40 quid?
No, that's like
it's about 45 bucks, isn't it?
55.
Yeah.
Probably 55. 50.
Wilfin, he's always puts them on Twitter. I'm raising money for Alan Shearer's foundation. Here's a picture of Alan Shearer signed. Right, I'll have it. I'm terrible. And then I just go give them away. Right, let's take it all back in time a little bit. We'll talk roughly about the Dortmund game. It was disappointing result, obviously. The performance, Brandon, what did you make of it? I mean, the crowd, for me, I was at the PSG game, very lucky to be there. The atmosphere was surreal, but it just didn't seem there for this game.
Was it rainy for that one too?
Yep.
Yeah.
They just can't get dry, man, with this one. And then the Wolves game, that is like somebody's gonna get some moldy boots or whatever going on. Pretty solid. I thought it was a competitive game, obviously. I wish they had that same spark in like the last 5 minutes. That, if they could extend that. But those guys have got to be so tired, man. I mean, they're playing they got a crazy schedule, and they're playing all these top flight teams nonstop, and they expect so much of them. And it's cool that they can rotate out the guys that they can, but like I mean, some of those like the back four have got to just be like spring break, please, or anything. Like I would think. I mean, I know they're working hard, but Yeah. There's
Yeah, didn't we hit the post 2 or 3 times?
yeah.
Hit the bar twice.
Yeah, unreal.
Wilson from a header was a great header. Gordon had one deflected onto the crossbar, which should have dipped and went in. But the biggest chance fell to Wilson. He was only 6 yards out when he hit it straight at the keeper. That was so disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have taken a tie very easily. And everybody gets so depressed after a loss or even a tie. But in that one, it's like we were going to lose one Champions League game, right, guys? Come on.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's if we look at it, it's seriously first time in the competition for 21 years.
Yeah,
we've got the group of death. We've got 4 points, scored 4 goals. We've only conceded 2. It's not as bad as what it sounds. And Dortmund did a job on us, didn't they? Really, the game plan was perfect. They hit us on the break. It was a good goal they scored.
Yeah,
no
1-0.
complaints.
1-0. Jeez.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I didn't expect us to go through the group unbeaten. But it's hard to take the defeat at home because we're all thought, we'll capitalize on our home games, hopefully get a point away from home, and that'll get us through the group. So now we've got to potentially beat AC Milan last game of the season, but we need to draw at either PSG or Dortmund away, which is no easy ask, is it?
No, it's not an easy ask, but at least we know who they are now, and that's good. I mean, we've got the experience. We got 3 games under our belt. We get out there and just play them. You got nothing to lose. Just play hard. And the unfortunate thing is, as everybody on this podcast knows, we are deeply banged up right now. So, I don't know how any of these matches are going to go. I didn't know how, Crystal Palace or
I fancied us at home against them comfortably. I was not worried about Palace.
Yeah, and then who else? No, I worry before all these games.
There's always a little bit of nerves. There's always a little bit of nerves, but I was like, it's Palace at home. We're going to win this one comfortably.
And then Wolves, tie game there. Same thing. I was like, soon. But I find myself going between severe depression and total elation. Okay, like
in the whole of 90 minutes
at a draw. Like it's like if we're winning 2-1. And they come back and tie us and we draw, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe we didn't win that game, And if let's say we're down 3-2 and we come back and tie it at the very end in a very competitive game, I'm like, yes, we got a point, So
is the difference of scoring the equalizer and conceding it, isn't it?
It really is. It's night and
moment,
day.
Isn't it?
It's night and day.
It is very, very different. But again, Brandon, I'm going to bring this one to you because let's just say we get a point at Dortmund. We get beat off Paris Saint-Germain. AC Milan come to St. James's Park.
Yeah.
3 points gets us through to the next round of the Champions League. Could you imagine the atmosphere? And we've obviously got to get our own back on AC Milan, haven't we, after what they've done to us?
Yeah, I think they need to what would you say, like recognize the faulty goods that they sold us and maybe take a gentleman's bow and I don't know, maybe they scuff a penalty, who knows, right? I don't know.
Maybe we can settle this out of court.
Right. Yeah, that's it. That's totally it. Yeah.
That's what our owner has to whisper to them before they take the pitch.
Literally.
It is right. You've kind of got to throw this game, otherwise it's going to cost us 25 million. So just,
and your kneecaps. Yeah.
And if Newcastle went on to the next round, it'd be worth 25 mil.
Yeah, well, it's more than that. I think it's crazy the amount of money we can make from it. Scum in the No channel. I don't know what that means. Oh well. Anyway, obviously Wolves. That's the next game to talk about. It was disappointing, as John, like you said, we conceded, but we always draw at Wolves. I think the last 4 times we've visited Wolves, it's been a draw. It just seems it's like Brighton and Fulham. Brighton, when they play Fulham at home, they always draw. It's just one of those games you can just rubber stamp a draw on.
Well, I knew it would be tough, and just as you're watching the match, you're like, oh my gosh, the the guys were so tired. And, it's like we could drop this game if we're not real careful, So you got to walk away with that one and go, a draw, that's fine. Would have loved the win. But, given all the injuries and everybody's just so tired. Even Gordon didn't look himself.
No.
He's normally a menace, a terror out there. And he didn't even look himself. And he's always got energy. Miggy's always got energy. It was a tough game, tough match.
Who was it that went on for like 3 minutes? Was it Willock? Who went on? And
he was on a bit longer than I think it was 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Willock is back. Willock is a huge plus.
He's big, but I don't think he's all the way there yet. And I even think,
they've got to ease him back in. But it's great to see him back on a football pitch.
Somebody went on for like a couple minutes and then came off injured like real quick after that.
That was Murphy.
That was
Murphy, sorry.
That was the Palace game, wasn't it? Was it the Palace game? Or Dortmund game, sorry. Dortmund game. Yeah, dislocated his shoulder.
Is that right?
Yeah. Very nasty. He's seen a specialist, so we should know how long he's going to be out for very soon. But we've got everyone. Every Botman's not back yet. Isak's injured. Murphy's injured. You've got Miley's injured. You've got Murphy injured. There's so many people injured. I've lost count.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But
before Isak went off, he had basically a breakaway, and I was waiting for him to break past that guy, and he pulled up, and he just and then it was shortly after that he came up and couldn't do it, said can't do it. So you knew that he was not himself, at that point. But you know what? It's funny. It's funny with these 3 matches. This is the first week, Baz, that I haven't been able to keep them all straight. Was that Crystal Palace? Was that Dortmund? Was that it's all
there's so much in there.
Imagine if you had to play all those matches. You'd be like, I am so worn out,
You've got to love it as a professional, though, haven't you?
I will just say this because, and a lot of people were commenting on this, and I'm with them. Is we really need to figure out a way to work these guys in before the second half of the season. For crying out loud, this is the most busy time. I love Eddie, but I think he's worried. Like it's a tight match,
Doesn't want to throw people on, does he?
Yeah, throw them in there. Get an extra spark from the energy of these youthful guys. You've heard me go on this rant before, but that could really help us, and it gives them confidence. It shows that you're confident with them, and you don't wait until it's a desperate situation and we need fresh legs and we throw a guy out there, Hall or somebody who hasn't been out at all, and he gets run over and loses the match. It's like, well, that doesn't do anything for the team or his confidence. But if we had been working guys in, I think it would help.
We've got out injured Elliot Anderson, Harvey Barnes, Sven Botman, Lewis Miley, Alexander Isak, Jacob Murphy, Alex Murphy. 7 players. I mean, Alex it makes the bench every now and again. So you can say 6 players who are involved in the either playing or on the bench and missing from our team at the moment, and that's half a team. That's
do you think this starts to like infect the locker room? Like the guys start to think like, ooh, maybe I'm going down next, or like because somebody made a comment about I hate to blame the weather, but the rain made a difference in those games, and I kind of agree because like if you're looking around and all your guys are dropping like flies, and then you got to go out back-to-back games in the rain where you don't have as much control over your body, you really want to win these games. Like, I wonder if that creeps into the play style at all. I just, I don't know. I know these guys are professionals.
No, it does. It does play on. It will play on the mind a little bit because they're thinking, well, if I'm out, then who else is to come in? And
well, also, like you're running down the pitch and you slip a little. The next time you get the ball, you're going to go, I don't want to go down. So I caught myself the first time, but I didn't injure myself. So I'm thinking about it now. I think there's something to that, at least in the back of people's minds. But But you know, of
Should
all
be used
those
to it
guys,
though. They're in the UK.
That's what I was thinking too. Like, it's easy for me to say I'm in the desert southwest of the United States, and I'm thinking like, look, these guys have been playing their whole life. Where have they been playing? Here. So like, surely they're used to it, right? But man, and then you start to like, I know that grass gets real short and choppy, and like it's like an ice rink out there at times. Like,
yeah,
Oh, it is, yeah.
yeah.
And then it doesn't suit our game either, because when you've got Shaw who likes to spray passes left, right, and centre, and it skids off the surface,
yeah,
you know, it doesn't. And then when you're trying to play balls along the deck, it gets held up. And
Yep.
that's when you end up with the hospital passes that you're talking about. Do you want to go in full throttle? Do you take a
right.
risk? Do you not? It is
also-
difficult.
It also leads to more turnovers, and we had a few of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, with all those guys you mentioned, I really miss Elliot Anderson, because he was a guy that that Eddie was very comfortable with putting out there, and it's like you lost him. It's like, dag gone now. You know,
Another one.
that's yeah.
Mauro, great to see you in the chat again. I hope you're well, mate, and we're looking forward to getting you back on the channel soon. And as he says, hey, Mauro. Callum Wilson, what a man. Third in the list of Premier League top goal scorers for Newcastle, as the Premier League only believes stats started when they started their breakaway league. So Callum Wilson's third in that list. I can assure you Peter Beardsley scored over 100 goals for Newcastle United, but they weren't in the Premier League. They were back in 1981 to 85 or something like that. So they don't count, even though they should. But what do you make of him, Brandon? I mean, Callum Wilson's a goal scorer, isn't he?
I loved the bicycle kick he scored.
Yes.
Super quick thinking, right? I mean, and the like, he seems like a pretty big dude, but the nimble agility to like play it off the head. Impressive.
Yeah.
I love the song that y'all sing for that.
Yes.
Because like we're used to hearing that at baseball games.
The Hey Jude.
No. Sorry. Hey, come. I wanna
that one.
I
wanna know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. If you be my girl. Yeah, that's we're used to hearing that at baseball games, but I love the adaptation. That's brilliant. That's
we play a lot on songs, to be fair. Obviously, Hey Jude is another one. We do that one. There's quite a few, to be fair. But the only thing I get worried about when I see Callum Wilson doing bicycle kicks is he going to get back up again.
Yeah, exactly. He's really been a solid guy. He's a scorer. He's also very powerful. He moves people around to get the position. You know, he's great.
I love Callum Wilson, and again, he's very different to Isak. And he's been asked, and I saw quite a lot of it against Wolves. He was asked to play a bit like Isak, which was come, get the ball into his feet, man at your back, be a bit stronger. And it didn't really suit him because he lost the ball quite a few times when it was played up to his feet. And I was thinking, that's not Wilson. Wilson likes to spin round, but the conditions weren't suiting balls into the channels because they were skidding away. So something for him to improve on.
I guess. I think he and Eddie Howe go way back, right? Aren't they both from Bournemouth? Or yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So that's what a friend to bring along, right?
Exactly. Well, we signed him under tit face. He did the 2 years duty service, getting hardly any service, and he still did well to score goals for us. But now he's reaping the rewards under the Eddie Howe again and under the new regime. I think he probably would have left if we hadn't have been taken over, to be honest with you. 2 years is a long time when you were playing under Steve Bruce and Mike Ashley. I can tell you that for sure. Well, I did a fun little poll on Twitter with Toon Polls. It was 7 polls in 7 days to make the greatest Newcastle player from 1990 to 2023. So before I show you who won, because I don't think you have seen this, which will make it a bit more interesting, we're going to see and test your knowledge and see what your greatest player would look like. So between the two of you, you've got to pick someone as right foot.
Right foot.
help me understand the prompt. So we're designing our
perfect Newcastle player for
yeah.
players who played for Newcastle between 1990 and 2023. So
Gotcha.
players that you know. So you've got to pick someone's right foot. Now the poll was, if I can remember it rightly, Peter Beardsley, Alan Shearer,
Gascon.
who else was there? No, not 1990 to 2023.
Oh, okay.
Gaza was in the 80s, I'm afraid.
Andy Cole in there?
No.
No.
He was in a different poll. But you just tell me who you think should be the right foot of our greatest player between that era. Who would you pick?
I would say Shearer, but I don't know as much. Back.
It doesn't matter how much knowledge you got. You just pick who you know of.
Yeah.
And in the chat, you can all join in as well. How would you make up your greatest player? Should we recall Fraser and Hayden? Brilliantly. No. Actually, Hayden, I'd probably consider Hayden, but Eddie Howe doesn't like him, so it's a shame. Who's got the best right foot you've ever seen at Newcastle?
The best right foot I've ever seen.
John's going Shearer. Who are you going with, Brandon?
Is Amiobi in here?
Oh, come on.
No.
Solano was in the poll. Solano was in there. Nobby. Definitely not sure Amiobi. He does not have the best right foot ever in Newcastle United. I'm not letting you even pick that one.
Is Craig Bellamy in here? I don't know.
If you want him to be, it's your choice, but just not Shola.
I like St. Maximin. Best right foot. I don't know. I guess the obvious pick is Shearer, right? I mean,
but that's
Les Ferdinand.
You go with Shearer, yeah, right. So who's left foot then? Who's got the best left foot you've ever seen? And if I remember the poll, I put Ginola, Robert, Hatton Ben Arthur, and I can't remember the fourth one now. Whose left foot have you seen?
I was going to say I've heard the most people talk about Ben Arfa, but
Ben Arfa was quality.
Was Michael Owen left-footed?
Nope. Oh, that's a disgusting name to be calling on this channel. Banned.
No.
Lee's gone for Les Ferdinand for the right foot. Burns gone Solano for the left foot. We've got Gary Speed was the other one who was in the poll. Burns says Robert. Lee says Gary Speed. Who do you used to fancy as your left foot?
Nobody's picking Miggy, right?
I would have put Miggy in the poll, but he just missed out. He was fifth on my list. Who we picking, John?
I was saying Ben Arfa, just based on all the people I know that really appreciated him and thought if things had gone better, he would have been a player for us. But
he was excellent.
Yeah,
I love Ben Arfa. I just wish he didn't have Adam Pardew and Mike Ashley to deal with. But then a lot of people say if he was under Eddie Howe, they wouldn't have got on, and it would have been like another St. Maximum situation potentially.
Yeah. Couldn't fit the system.
Tiote had a good right foot, but we're making the best attacking player. That's probably the best way to describe it. Brandon, left-footed player.
I'll jump in on that. Yeah,
Hatton Ben Arthur's good. Finishing. Who's the best finisher you've ever seen? Now we had Andy Cole, Peter Beardsley, Alan Shearer, and Callum Wilson. They were the four I put in the poll. Who are you picking?
Alan Shearer.
Yeah, I think that's quite an obvious.
I mean, the numbers are right there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Andy Cole was superb at finishing as well, though, to be fair. If he'd stayed at Newcastle longer, he could have rivaled Alan Shearer potentially for that. But obviously things didn't work out that way. Demba Ba was obviously a good finisher as well, but not the greatest. Vision. So that's picking a pass, being able to unlock defenses. For that one, I had Beardsley, Cabaye, Ben Arthur, and Bruno. I think I put Bruno.
Yeah.
Yeah, Remy was good.
I like Kieran
Burns is-
Trippier here.
I was going to say, Trippier does a really good job.
Yeah, but I'm talking. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. He's a great right back, and he puts in great crosses. But we're talking about someone who can see a pass that nobody else can see and do something magic. That's why the names that I mentioned were that. But again, it's your choice. If you want to put Trippier, you can put Trippier.
Well, do you remember that pass last year from Joe Willock?
Yes, against Southampton.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a good ball.
That was beautiful. And so I don't know if that's, I mean,
that is vision. That is seeing something.
And that's one instance, really. But I do like to watch that guy play.
Yeah, Trips.
I think I like Saint Maximin here again. Honestly, I know he didn't. I would. He gets so much. He gets so much flack for his dancing moves, but I thought he played some very impressive bait and pass plays for sure.
Yeah, he certainly.
I'll give you that.
I would put him under. I would put him under chaos.
Chaos, yeah.
He caused chaos for the other team. When he was on, he was like, "Oh my God, what do we do to defend this guy? I can't cover him."
Love it. Right, the next one is speed, so quickness. So I had for that one Kieran Dyer, Craig Bellamy, Anthony Gordon, and Yedelin. That's a name you'll know.
Well,
Andre Yedelin.
Yeah, totally.
Who was the fastest? Who would you have as your speedster?
Well, I would pick Anthony Gordon right now, and I would have picked like Joe Willock a year and a half ago. They just caused so much trouble.
He actually was quite quick, to be fair. But so you're going Gordon. I mean, speed is speed, isn't it? It's how fast you are along the ground. Surprisingly, though, everyone did pick Gordon. But Yedelin's actually the fastest player we've ever had, I think.
Really?
Wow. I could see it.
He was rapid.
Yeah.
And the last poll was strength. So who was the strongest? Or, holding the ball up, doing all that sort of stuff. I think I had
Callum.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I just like the way Callum holds the ball and he fights.
He just he's
sturdy.
If I was in a bar fight, I'd want him on my team. You know what I mean?
I want Joe Linton on my team.
I'd want Toyota. God rest him. Here's the winners, and it did have a very northeast feel about it. Obviously, right foot Alan Shearer, Robert left foot. He was phenomenal. Finishing Shearer.
Wow.
Vision Beardsley, dribbling was Beardsley. Speed was Gordon, and strength was Shearer. I mean, Shearer was just he's won 3 of them. Beardsley's got 2 of them, all from the northeast, and then Gordon most recently. And Robert's left foot was like a rocket. If you get a chance and you want to see what Robert was all about, just put him in YouTube and watch his goals. He was unbelievable. Yeah. Oh, Andy Carroll had a good left foot, but not as good as Robert though. That was just a fun poll. Did over 7 days, just while it was the international break, just to get conversations going about old players and new players, and different eras of people who have supported the club, and some very interesting conversations came out.
Yeah, that happens over here between fans talk about football or baseball fans, and if this guy played with Michael Jordan, he would be better than Michael Jordan, and everybody goes, no, he wouldn't be. Basketball, but yeah, it's always fun to get people going.
I think about this with like the goat conversations, right? Like, I don't know that I don't think you could do that. I think it's generational. I think you put Pele and Maradona or whatever over here, and then you put Messi and Ronaldo over here, and I don't know that you could have a sort of you got to consider the time, I think.
Well, you do, and that's why everybody gets so stirred up, because I grew up in the 80s, so this is my guy. He's the only guy. He's the rock star of ages. And somebody else in the 2000s is like, no, it's this
Yeah.
guy. I
Yeah.
have seen all his games. He's the best guy ever. So that's what happened. It is generational.
And that's what happened with this poll as well. There was people picking players outside of the time frame and that, and going back into the day. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I wasn't born.
Imagine,
so
and you also got to consider like the technology, because like the training
Yes.
technology that they have. Like, imagine if Alan Shearer had the access to these kinds of
Physio guy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And the nutrition side of it, right? Like, I mean, they were just eating whatever, smoking cigarettes at halftime, and
well, even back in the Kevin Keegan era, you had David Ginola who smoked 40 a day almost, or something stupid like that. It's crazy. But you are right. I mean, if people start looking at likes of Malcolm McDonald, can you imagine what he could have been even better than what he was potentially, with all the lighter balls, better footwear?
Yeah, right. Totally.
The pitches were disgraceful back in the day that they played on. If you put Messi on, I was saying that because Messi could play on anything, to be fair. But if you put like a normal, so a half decent average Premier League footballer back in the 1970s on a bog pitch where it's bobbling around everywhere and try and tell them to trap a ball, I bet you they can't.
Yeah.
It's the pitches they played on. There's a great one from Burns. Worst forward, Andreas Andersson. I don't know if you guys remember him, but I think he was Swedish. He was absolutely terrible. He scored one goal for us. He was absolutely pants. I think Baz should pick his best Newcastle 11 of all time versus John's best Newcastle 11 of all time, and we'd take a vote. We'll do that on the next show. So, John, there's some homework for you.
Oh my gosh, no!
Yeah,
I'm gonna need to lean on Brandon.
All right, if you have to lean on Brandon, you go for it. But this is just pick
research.
your all-time 11. Your bet. I've already got mine. It's on my phone. It's always saved.
Well, I would vote for Baz's right away. You can just shut that down.
No. You're going to do this. You got to pick your 11. Now, the other question is, Lee, though, are we allowed to pick current Newcastle players, or does it have to be after they've retired? Is the question. So, could I pick Trippier? Or could I pick Bruno? Or does it have to be people who have retired because they're not classed as the greatest yet because they haven't fulfilled their full, destiny of Newcastle yet?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. John's going to enjoy that question, and Leslie agrees with it, so we have to do it. If Leslie says whatever Leslie says, it goes. It's as simple as that. Brandon, we'll look ahead very quickly because we're nearly finished. We nearly hit our hour, and I appreciate you coming on for this long. Very quickly about Wednesday night, we've obviously got the next round of the Carabao Cup at Old Trafford against Man United. We've already knocked out the better half of Manchester in an unbelievable performance.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
You mentioned about fatigue.
Yeah.
What do we do on Wednesday? Do we
play the B team?
Yeah, so you've gone straight in with it.
Play the B team. Play the C team, man. Play the under 21s. Play the U18s. I don't know. Just give somebody a break, because this is the Carabao Cup. Are we really going hard for the Carabao Cup? I mean,
well, it's the competition we got to Wembley in last year.
Yeah.
And that had that great. Well, everyone had that great day out, apart from me. Remember David Kelly swimming in the Gallagher, and oh God, you might not know it. Can you remember that or not?
No.
So this was we promoted, or was it? It was the season we won the league by a mile to get promoted to the Premier League, back into the Premier League. And we played Sunderland. And obviously it's the big derby. Keith Hackett was the referee, and I had Keith Hackett on the channel to talk about being a referee. And he actually refereed that game. And I was like, no way, I remember that game. And he said that game should never have gone ahead. The officials, there was that waterlogged out on the pitch. The officials were calling it off, and he got pulled to one side by the police and the club, and they said
there's going to be a riot.
They literally said there will be a riot if you call this game off. We've got all those fans out there and they're expecting a game. We don't have the police to be able to handle it. If you call this game off, we are fucked.
Yeah.
And that's why the game went ahead. And I mean, it was waterlogged. You would kick the ball and it would just land dead in the ground. It was that bad. And I remember they all went off at halftime and they all came back on in like fresh, new, dry clothes.
Yeah.
And within 30 seconds, David Kelly put a sliding tackle in near the corner flag. It went straight into a massive puddle. It was absolutely brilliant. It was unreal. John, the questions changed a little bit. You're allowed to do 6 retired and 5 current players for the next show. So you've got 2 weeks to sort that out.
The next show.
Yeah, about 11 days to sort it.
I'm going to do it like an American style. I'm going to call in a stunt double to help me with this. There's 2 guys I'll lean on. David Craig from Hebburn, out there in the UK, and the other guy is Dan Devlin from Monterey, California. He's a walking encyclopedia of Newcastle. He's great.
There's no right or wrong answer with this. It's your greatest 11.
Sure.
It's all your opinion, you see. This is why I like questions like that, because then we can argue about who's better and who's not. I was just asking Brandon about Wednesday night. He says we should play the B team. I personally, I want to beat Man United. I want revenge. And I want to beat them in their backyard. And I think they're beatable.
They're already down bad enough, man.
I don't know what, I think somebody said it, maybe Brandon, somebody said, boy, they really need this game desperately. Man United does. So, it might be a fun time to just go out there and have a good time, guys. You'll beat them because you're not stressed, Yeah. But I would like to see some of the guys that didn't get a chance to play, that are on the bench, get them in there. Get them in there, because give us a break for the next match. Whatever happens.
Arsenal, isn't it? Arsenal home on Saturday. It's a huge game.
Yeah. And don't you remember when we played Man City? I think we had Tino Livramento out there for the whole game, and he was outstanding. He was outstanding, and it was like we never get to see him. Put him back out there. Trippier was really, really slow and tired. And
I agree with that change. I just don't want to see like 11 changes.
No,
you saw against Man City in that first 45 minutes of the Carabao Cup game.
Yeah,
we were terrible, and it wasn't until you bring Bruno on and you bring Joe Linton on as well at the same time, and then the game changed.
Right,
just 2 substitutions. That was it. That's all it took. So I would like to see a bit of a mix if we can.
Oh, sure.
I agree with Tino coming straight in for 90 minutes. Kieran Trippier just go and have a nice family day out. That's what Gary said, which is what he needs. He needs to have a rest.
I wouldn't mind seeing Matt Targett out there either.
Yeah, Targett played well against Dortmund when he came on. I'm all up for that as well.
And even if they don't perform well, you pull them off. But you get them in the mix again. These guys need to be in the mix.
Is Tonali eligible, or will his ban have kicked in?
No, his ban got put in on Friday. Literally all football competitions, I'm afraid. Lee says you've also got to pick a manager as well, John. Your greatest ever Newcastle manager. Not now, but for when we do our next show.
Yeah, that's not going to be as hard.
I think we'll probably both have the same one, to be fair.
Well, there's 3 good names out there.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 in my era as well. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Target, Tino in. The Cells probably stays in, because we don't have that many centre backs, to be fair, because Murphy's injured, so we can't bring him in. Midfield, you would want to bring Miley in, but he's got laryngitis, so we can't. I would bring Hall in, definitely, to play a left wing. We are struggling, guys. We are literally struggling.
Because Manchester United's got their season's over, so there's nothing. They got nothing to lose. They're going to play their best 11 guys, right? I mean,
possibly.
Yeah. They looked terrible against City this morning. They looked real bad.
They could not get the ball.
I would drop Pope and play Dubravka just because he was at Man United on loan, won't he? And just see what he does.
A.L. Jackson, you're right.
Yeah, you could bring Dummett in. Dummett left centre back again with the Cells. That seemed to work really well against City.
Yeah. No, I like that. Who was that? A.L.? I like that idea because I was thinking Dubravka needs to be in. You know, he had some good matches for us a couple years.
He's a very good goalkeeper.
He really is, and he doesn't come out of the net like
Poor,
drives
oh
me
God,
crazy.
yeah. He nearly cost us a goal, didn't he? Again with his charging out.
I spent a lot of money to go to that Liverpool game last year, and 20 minutes in, and Pope gets a red card. It's like,
You should message him on Twitter, see if you can get a refund. Do you know what I had to do? And then see if he replies. He probably won't, but it's worth a try, isn't it?
No, I wouldn't do that.
I'll tell you what, obviously I did a show at 8:00 about the Wolves game in detail. We're trying to think of names we could throw in on Wednesday night, and Daryl Stevenson's a name that got thrown up a couple of times. He's a striker. He could potentially come in because he can't play Wilson on Wednesday night. He can't play Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. It won't work.
Wasn't there talk that we'd slide Gordon in the middle?
Yeah, but I want to give Gordon a rest as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some guys like the way they're built, like Gordon and Miggy, they just don't tire like everybody else. They don't, but
Miley's got laryngitis, AL Jackson, so I'm afraid he's not an option. And his brother's also injured as well. Richie could come in if he's not injured. I mean, I don't mind playing Gordon up front. I don't mind playing Miggy up front as like a false nine and trying to play a little bit differently. Us glandular fever, that's it.
Yeah. I had to look that up.
Glandular fever, yeah.
I had to look that one up, and it was really kind of strange.
Yeah.
It's like he's got mono, or something.
Yeah, it's not good. Makes you weak and tired and all that.
Yeah,
sort of
that's
stuff,
like mononucleosis.
And his brother's picked up an injury as well. His brother's meant to be really good as well. I wonder. Do you know? It sounds really daft, and I'm going to throw a name at you because he's still on our books, but I don't know if he's fit yet. But Longstaff's brother,
Matty.
Throw him in. He scored 2 goals against Man United. He scored at Old Trafford when we got beat 4-1.
Wasn't it his first game he scored?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At St. James's Park, beat them 1-0. If he's fit, because he's still on our books, I'm sure he is, throw him in.
Wow.
We're that desperate, throw him in. Why
not? I think I have no idea what Eddie's going to do. And I would hate that challenge to make a lineup. But there's a couple people. I would say Tino, for one.
Oh, he's definitely in.
Yeah, I would put him in. And then
he's a free agent now. I thought he was still on our books.
Yeah.
I thought he got a 6-month contract till January.
If they put Dubravka in, it wouldn't bother me.
I think he needs to come in. I think Pope needs a rest.
And if they put Matt Target in, it wouldn't bother me. Beyond that,
I'd put him in.
Beyond that, it gets tough.
It does, yeah. I mean, we can pick a back four we'll pick a back 5, actually. You can put Dubravka in, you put Dummett, Lascelles, Tino, Target, Kraft at right wing back. I don't know if Kraft's back yet or not. I think he's still classed as an injured party. I would put Hall at left wing. Probably play Miggy on the right still. Gordon up front. And then you've got the issue of the free midfielders who can you afford to rest and who can come in. That's the only problem we've got. Only to help his injury recovery. He's gone now. I knew it was only but I thought he got 6 months to then find a new club. But there we go. Matty's on the door. Kraft was on the bench yesterday. Yeah, get Kraft in. Get Kraft in at right back and play Tino at right wing potentially.
That might help.
Yeah. But we've got some sort of options, but we're kind of getting round, objects and trying to put them through square holes, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's going to be a difficult one.
You could tell halfway through that match, it was like, oh, this is getting it's that tough part of the year we knew was coming. Yeah. Too many matches and then guys hurt, so.
Not enough bodies.
How cool is it, though, that we have to be in such a tough position to make all these difficult priorities, right? It's like
it's great.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. It's well, like I say, 21 years since we were in the Champions League.
Yeah.
No, it's
About
great.
17 years since we were last in Europe, because we had that little spell when Alan Pardew was in charge and we got to a quarter-final, or was it a semi-final? I can't remember now. But that's when we had Demba Ba, Cisse, Ben Arfa, Cabaye, Tiote, Colaccini, Gutierrez. You know, we had a decent team then. But again, you know, not enough backup, and we're just lucky we didn't get a lot of injuries. So, yes, we have a lot of people out on loan. Last question for you guys. Would you bring Matete back from Feyenoord? If we can. He's on loan there for the full season. He's a winger. He can play up front as well. He's been doing really well at Feyenoord. They're in the Champions League, and he's been doing well in that. Would you bring him back if it's possible?
You have to wait till January to bring him back, right? Or
I don't know what the rules are, but would you, if you could right now, would you bring him back?
Well, I would right now. Boom. Period. But I am anxious to see what we get in January. I think we're gonna go for some players in January. We're not going to be, we're not going to try and get into this position again.
Yeah, I have no loyalties to Feyenoord, so I have no issue. Calling him home.
I think a lot of people have said get him back as quickly as possible if it's possible. Oh, you're joking. Oh my days! Would you bring back Cahool? Would you bring back Cahool? I'm getting. Let's talk. Says I mean, this was quite evident at the weekend, but we did have a lot of left-footed players on the bench who were mainly defenders. It's very hard to say whether he trusts them or not. I mean, he had Lewis Hall, he had Tino, he had Target on the bench. You know, there weren't players who could change a game. When I looked at the bench at the weekend, the only player I saw who could change a game was Willock. So it's a difficult one, that one. I think he will push Miggy out of the team. I don't think, well, he possibly could. Get Fraser back. Hell no. Jesus Christ. But I would consider Hayden. I would actually consider Hayden on loan, getting him back, because I liked Hayden, but he's not fast enough. Any decent free agent short-term deal? Probably not.
How do you like some of this talk that we're going to get a guy from Saudi during the
Neves?
Yeah, Neves.
So we have Nelly. I don't know if you've had a chance to speak to Nelly or not, who's in Saudi Arabia. So that's a country. She's great. She comes on this show every now and again. She's very knowledgeable about football and about the Saudi league and teams. Yeah. She said it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's someone from inside that country saying, look, it's not going to happen. So, but you never know.
Yeah, it's funny how that talk mushrooms up. Sometimes I think it's a trial balloon to get everybody focused on it.
Yes.
And then we go over here and do something.
Yeah, and we go somewhere else. Just like we did with Tonali in a way. Everyone was talking about Madison, and then boom, Tonali came out of nowhere, and I called it. But yeah. But Neves in a heartbeat, I would take him. Would you guys take him? I was devastated he went over there.
Yeah.
Well, there was talk that a few players have noticed that, it was initially a big deal to go there and to get all that money, but then they missed the atmosphere of the Premier League. They miss, sold out stadiums and that kind of thing. Because
apparently they're at an all-time low. The attendance is over there. I saw a recent tweet out from it. Having a bad game. Yeah, I this is a tough one for me. I don't want to keep this too much more longer, but we could 3 more minutes. Okay. Trippier is a leader. He's inspirational. He almost set up the winner. If Shaw had got his header on target, I thought he should have. Would Tino Livramento been able to deliver that kind of cross at that time under that kind of pressure? It's hard just to say Trippier was having a bad game, just put Tino in and then we'll be all right. It's a tough one for me.
Yeah.
I think that, but also, I mean, at that point in the game, Trippier had taken a corner on one side, ran clear across the field to take a corner on the other side, ran clear back to take a free kick on the other side. I don't know if he's doing that,
I mean, Tino, I think Target was on at that point, so he probably could have helped out with free kicks and corners and stuff like that. But what I mean is that it's just that Trippier is that good.
Yeah.
It's hard to pull him
Yeah.
off when we're trying
Yeah.
to win a game. I can understand if we were maybe 3-1 up, take him off and rest him. But when you're chasing a game, you want Trippier on there, don't you?
Yeah, I'm sure Eddie feels that way. He's probably like, man, I don't want to damage everybody psychologically by taking the star out. Does it look like I'm throwing in the towel then, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I guess we've had a couple of conversations about, yeah, that is all true. But going into this next match, Tino needs to play.
Yeah, definitely on Wednesday
Give
night.
Trips the rest.
Yeah. I don't think he's overtraining the players. I think he has all the science around him and the right people who know when to push players and when not to push them. So I don't think that's happening, especially with all the games we've got. It can't happen.
I don't think it's overtraining. I think we just play a style that is so hard on the body.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you got to recognize when guys get a little tired.
Yeah, I agree.
And get them off before they get injured.
The
just
problems
need
of
that bench.
ambition.
Yes, exactly. But what a problem it is to have.
We have hope now.
Exactly. Excellent show, guys. Thank you, Splat. And thank you so much, Brandon, for coming on last minute. John, well done for convincing him to come on. I've been saying for weeks to get you on, to be fair, and get the family on, but he's finally decided to do it. So thank you so much for coming on, and welcome to the Black and White, Through Black and White Eyes family. This is John's show. I like to try and call it that.
Yeah, well, you're the one who sets it up. You do all the work. I appreciate it. Thanks.
I love it.
Thanks,
You've
Brandon.
enjoyed yourself, Brandon?
Totally. Yeah. Super fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well,
Can't wait to come. Can't wait to come in November. I'll be.
Yes, I will be up in November. I'm in York. It's about an hour and a half away. John's got to give me the dates again, but I think it's the second game I'm going to be at.
The Man United game.
Yeah, I hope I get tickets. Fingers crossed. If not, I'm still going to come up and we'll have some drinks and then have a good laugh. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
But thanks to John, thanks to Brandon, thanks to everyone in the chat who's asked some brilliant questions. We'll see you again in about 11, 12 days' time or something like that. I'll give John the dates and then I'll set it all up and then you can all know when to join us and have some fun. So take care till then, everyone.
Thank you, Baz. Thank you, Brandon.
Later.